Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Divinity walkthrough. The last video there we took care of Evelyn, put her out of her misery. Although I don't know if she was really suffering.
You have done it, haven't you? You've discovered the fate of Councillor Jake. By the gods, no one could have predicted such a dark turn of events. This is worse than my deepest fears made manifest. It just cannot be that they aim to resurrect him. Brachus Rex. It cannot be!
Now, where is my pepper? Did it sprout legs and run away?
Forgive me, this news just so very upsetting. This thing. It was the king of tyrants. The embodiment of terror. The lunatics that seek his rise must be stopped, whatever the cost. I do. I do indeed. Brachus would unseat the king of demons in sheer perfidy and malice given half a chance. For the world, for you and I to suffer his perversions once more is unthinkable. The possibility of his return is more than I can bear. And Ikara, that she has been dragged into this sorry business adds insult to insufferable injury. There have long been rumors that Brachus's corpse was interred in the vaults beneath the abandoned Church of the Seven in Sicil's eastern hinterlands. That place is crawling with undead these days, so the rumors may well be true. Where Leandra goes, the dead rise left and right. And even in death, the long-lost tyrant's corruption appears to persist. Come to think of it, did anyone in Evelyn's lair mention the name Cassandra? It's nothing, Hunter. Nothing. My mind is reeling, but I'll feel better soon. After you've cut short Leandra's dark pursuits. She is a great woman, Hunter. A champion of all that is good and pure. She may have killed Jake, but then again, the man turned out to be a vile sorcerer. I can only surmise that she is on to her sister's sinister schemes, which makes me fear for her safety more than anything else. Leandra. I know her, though I haven't seen her in years. As you know, she and Ikara are sisters. It's hard for me to believe that she's leading this cult. That she's delirious enough to go after Brachus Rex. But clearly her involvement can no longer be denied. She's as smart as 10 wizards put together, Hunter. An opponent to be feared. Now, you said Jake and Evelyn called her the Conduit, didn't you? In that case, she may just be the elusive head of the Immaculates. There's a village in the forests north of Sicil where a new religion has taken hold. Its followers call themselves Immaculates, and I've heard say they worship a leader called the Conduit. This village is called Silverglen, and if my suspicions turn out to be correct, there is sorcery at work there. Alas, I haven't the foggiest. Another sorcerer, perhaps? Or simply another victim of Leandra's ploys? The Legion didn't find a second body at the scene of the crime, so maybe he escaped with his life after all. Though, just as likely, his body too was taken away by Evelyn for experimentation. And I will see if I can find out more about Ikara's involvement. But in the meantime, please pursue Leandra to the old church in the east and stop her before she can raise Brachus. I beg of you.
Not Brachus Rex's name alone is enough to turn our friendly neighborhood wizard into a scaredy cat. I wonder why this ancient spectre spooks him so. Ahu doesn't strike me as the type to scare very easily. And so the mystery is solved. Councillor Jake was murdered by this so-called White Witch Ikara. But as it stands, I guess our next concern is Brachus Rex. Then we know what we must do next. Pursue Leandra and stop her before she brings Brachus Rex back to life. Agreed. If Brachus is half as dangerous as Jake and Evelyn claimed, we must prevent his ever seeing the light of day again.
Okay, so we finally got a dialogue conversation there, whatever. That resulted in a trait option. I went with the bold pick. But yeah, so tons of stuff to talk about here. We've got actually, I kind of did a fairly decent job given the amount of time in the last video there. But so we've obviously killed Evelyn. Obviously, and it probably was already obvious that she was a sorcerer, as well as kind of a surprise revelation that Jake himself was a sorcerer. And completely, it sounded like obedient to Leandra, who is also known as the Conduit or the leader of the Immaculates. I'm going to speak, I guess, a bit more about the events while I sell all of my garbage here. Was really getting, my inventory was getting way too full of stuff, so that's what we're going to do here. But yeah, so anyways, the events, it sounds like, again, as they were unfolding, Leandra met with some mysterious male visitor at the King Crab Inn. It sounds like there was a little hanky-panky, a little, what did Jake say there? The sounds of passion were coming from the room, so, you know, pretty interesting stuff there, maybe a little scandal. And then there was an argument, and it sounded like, I don't know if Leandra killed this guy, or subdued him, and Jake went in for the kill shot, and it sounded like stabbed him. Yeah, so, and then actually, what was it, Ikara burst through the window and killed Jake, but only one body was found, which apparently was Jake's, and then Evelyn took Jake's body from the morgue, tried to cover it up, or did cover it up, didn't do a very great job, obviously. We learned what she did, then, you know, obviously took, what was it, Bertia's sheep, put the sheep's corpse in the casket, and then buried that instead, and then revived Jake, or resurrected him and made him into a zombie. So, real interesting turn of events there. But we also do learn that, obviously, that Leandra is the Conduit, and again, the kind of the head of the Immaculates, as well as now another name has kind of popped up, which is Brachus Rex, which apparently is like the biggest, baddest, meanest sorcerer to ever have lived. He was killed and it sounds like buried somewhere around Sicile. And I think there's been a couple of hints so far that he might be buried in the church. And I think actually we might have a little more dialogue that fleshes that out a bit. I vaguely remember Aureus mentioning something about that. Oh, we got some orders here. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, so we'll actually speak to Aureus. I think that's in this video too. And man, that guy's so funny. I forget how funny that guy is. It's just a really good character. You know, he's the captain. He's supposed to be, you know, or he is responsible for what goes on in town and kind of the law, I guess I'd say. That's the way I look at it. He seems to me like a police chief. But reluctant and not really interested in, well, maybe not that he's not interested in doing his job. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's bored by it or just doesn't like it in general. He hates Sicile, and is just, you know, kind of maybe overwhelmed because it seems like there's so many problems here, and he just He wants to be out bird watching instead. So all right. Anyways, this video we're going to do a bit with what's the? I guess just cleaning up some of the side quests that we've been on. I learned that the smelly scarf that was dropped by Evelyn. Since I already basically stole from everyone in town, and I didn't know this, but I guess you can get the smelly items that you can give to Murphy here.
You smell even better than the fish merchant. Your awesome smells are so awesome.
Your awesome smells are so awesome. So you can get the smelly items from the different people in town. What is it? Aureus, is it Cecil, Evelyn, and Esmeralda. And you can either steal from them directly, or you can steal, like literally pickpocket them, or you can get them, you know, in their respective like buildings somewhere. And that was the route that I went. I actually I don't think I've ever pickpocketed any of those people. But one interesting thing that and again, I just actually learned this recently, was that, so I ended up with the smelly scarf there, and that's from Evelyn. I already stole the smelly coat, though, from her room there in Fellerion's, whatever, his house or whatever. And so I've already cleaned up all of that I guess that dialogue option with Murphy. So there's no more use for any of the smelly items.
Salutations, Source Hunter. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. By all means. What? You found 2 of my soldiers cowering in the bushes. I expect more from tried and true legionnaires, but at least you did the job for them. I guess we'll have to... My legionnaires. They all perished? How fate has treated them wantonly. And if it weren't for you, the archaeologist would surely have died as well. He has much to be thankful for. Were that I had. Churches have churchyards, and churchyards attract necromancers. So goes the sinister logic. So I did. The Pact of The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in...
Okay, so we've updated Selenia here on the guys at the lighthouse, as well as the... What was it? It was the group kind of around... the archaeologist. So those are 2 of the side quests that we've completed.
Ah, the Source Hunter. Oh, joyous. So, let me get this straight. There are insidious sorcerers running about town that turned a council ambassador into a zombie for sport, after said councillor was murdered by some mystery witch who subsequently trotted off to her cabin in Lucula Woods. Sure you haven't omitted relevant details like, flying brooms, black cats, and bloody pentagrams? By Belagar's Nevers. Sounds like a fantasy tale mothers tell their children before bed. And I bet none of it's more than fantasy either. Though no doubt Ahu puts stock in your every word. Anyway, be these truths, half-truths, or outright lies, it seems to me your business in Sicil is concluded. Don't let the undead hit you on the way out. Oh, if you must. I'd say they're looking for weak spots in our defenses. They can't make an attack over land for fear of Ahu's magical machines, so they're trying their luck by sea. They won't succeed, though. Not against the Legion. What more is there to say? She clearly was in league with the sect that's been unsettling Sicil. So now that she's dead, all the better. Hopefully, though, it has dawned on you that a sect implies multiple adherents. The search continues. Yes, and he also spends most of his time in the guise of a cat, licking God's knows which body parts. Sects, sorcerers. You'll be seeing flying carpets next. Now, I don't see how my mother-in-law is any of your business, Hunter. Seriously, though, I doubt information given by the zombified remains of a counselor is to be trusted. But then again, you do take the advice of cat wizards, too. I heard she has a cottage in the forest north of the city. I'm sure it's made of gingerbread and you'll find the remains of eaten children. So off you trot in chase of fairy tale fiends. What'd you take me for? An ignoramus? That accursed name rings a goddamn Carillion. He was the last sorcerer king, a frightful warrior that fell dozens before finally being slain by the army that had risen against him. We may well stand on unholy ground right now, for they say his remains were buried in what is now Sicil, the Mad King from Mad City.
Okay, so, Aureus, as always, I find extremely humorous. He doesn't really believe us when we talk about almost anything. I mean, the tale of Evelyn turning Jake into a zombie doesn't believe us. Yeah, and he's just, you know, I wouldn't say just a healthy amount of skepticism. It's like he literally just flat out doesn't believe us. But when we brought up the name of Brachus Rex, though, he gets super serious all of a sudden. And so even Aureus recognizes that Brachus Rex is a, well, he describes him as a mad king for a mad city. So, you know, obviously something to be, I would say, taken a little bit more seriously. I don't know why I came back here. I guess, I think I just never have. And I was like, huh, well, how do I get back there? Well, I guess this is how I decided to do it. Through the teleporter pyramid back here. And there isn't anything here. I mean, to be honest, this was a waste of time. I mean, I guess there's, what was there, like a, I think there was like a Fun with Fluids book or something. There's a hand axe. I don't know. Some wheat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't even grab the book. I just left it. Alright, so let's get out of here. Let's pick this guy up and be on our way. But, alright, so what else do we have to do here? I know I have to finish the side quest with the Staff of Pergamon. I gotta bring that to... I always forget his name. The mayor... Cecil? Is it Cecil? I think? We're about to find out. Cecil. Yeah, there we go.
What? Oh, it's you. What news? What? You found it? Oh, this is excellent news. Where is it then? Give it here.
Here it is, the Staff of Pergamon. Careful that it doesn't wind up in the wrong hands again, Mr. Mayor.
Wonderful. Oh, it's simply wonderful. Come, come. You must let me thank you somehow. I've got it. A free month's honorary membership to the Sicil Library. Well, I suppose as much as any other Thaddeus, Rich, or Harold, a shameful spot upon the history of Rivellon, that brute. As loath as I am to admit it, Sicil was once quite a hub of the despot's supporters. Some even say his corpse was cast beneath the foundations of the abandoned church in the northeastern cliff. An old wives' tale, I say, but I suppose one never knows for sure. Oh, she's a dear girl indeed. She's got a little cabin in the cooler forest, not so far to the north of here, in fact. And though she doesn't make it into Sicil often, it's a comfort to know she's keeping the watch near our border. I hope she hasn't got mixed up in all this ugly business with the counselor.
Okay, so I guess you can keep the staff or give it or hand it over. And I handed it over, and I got the spiritual trait. Let's see, what's the other spiritual? Oh, materialistic. Yeah, that makes sense, right?
I think I'll sleep by the fire tonight, once the regulars stagger home. I am Unsinkable Sam, a magnet the moment I hit so I want. Not that I have it bad here, mind you, by all means. Aye, so there's the rub. I am but a stray, and she is the mayor's cat. Oh, I do understand her, I do. She wants a Tom of means, not privation. One who brings home the sardines and the occasional halibut. Would that I still had my collar. Such a marvel it was, as bejeweled as the night sky with precious stones, said to have once been worn by a far-off Maharaja's best hunting cheater. Like the king of all cats I looked when I wore it. A gift bestowed upon me by a princess whom I had kept company during a long and perilous voyage. A precious band of gemstones, lost as I was tossed around by the waves like a ball in a game of catch. Among the waves it remains, I imagine. Won perhaps by a crab who fancies himself a Caesar with it. If only I could be the Caesar again, and Maxine my Caesarina. By all means.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, the Staff of Pergamon, obviously, giving it to him gives you the spiritual trait. Keeping it is materialistic. Here I was speaking with Unsinkable Sam, who I couldn't find his collar. I thought that maybe I had accidentally sold it off to one of the vendors. That wasn't the case. What actually happened was when I had to redo my, because I've had to redo my game now. And when I did it the first time, I completed the Black Cove in its entirety. But the second time around, I forgot to do the final leg of the Black Cove. So I took care of Pontius, the pirate, and actually got the key to the key to the ominous Black Gate or whatever like that, or whatever it's called. And that's actually why I came back here. I'm looking for the collar, and I thought maybe I had sent it to the homestead, which was again not the case. I just didn't complete the final leg of the Black Cove, which is you open up the gate. It's almost right at the beginning, but you need the key from Pontius, so you're not able to complete it until you've basically completed, the other parts of Black Cove. But anyways. So you open up the gate, go down, you see the dragons that had been killed by the source, what is that thing called? It's like the source beast or something like that, but it's the big weird water spider thing. And that is what drops Sam's collar, as well as, it's got the spider's claw or something like that. It's a one-handed dagger. But here I actually needed to grab the key, which I think I forgot to do. So we're going to actually complete that in the next video because, oh yeah, this is where I accidentally, So I opened up the treasure chest and then I hit Y on accident, and that put everything back into my inventory. So I was extremely unhappy about that. So rather than do all that stuff on screen, I'm going to cut that all out. But I'm going to end the video here. There's not much else for the rest of this. It's literally just me throwing the keys back into my homestead chest. Again, super annoying, but whatever. As always, hope the guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.